Traveling to this part of Southeast Oregon sure reminds me of some of the places that I explored out in northern Nevada while I was going to college and where I met Scott Jones. We are at the camp of the one, the only, the legend, Scott Jones. Probably in there taking a nap with the air conditioner running.
We made it.
Scott has already established where we're going to camp, and we're going to start on another one of these adventures that we never know how it's going to end.
Mr. Jones. Oh, wrong door.
Other than we know it's going to be filled with a lot of laughs, big smiles, and a lot of memories to take home.
Hey, Mr. Jones, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm taking a little nap.
Sorry to wake you up.
Oh, that's okay.
How are you?
Good.
Tired?
Yeah, I didn't sleep too good last night.
I don't blame you.
And it was hot. It was hot today.
It is hot.
So often we get a question about why don't you ever film in Oregon? It's not that we don't want to hunt there, it's that it's been hard to get tags, especially as non-residents. But now that Matthew is a resident, he can apply and build points, and he, like in this case, might draw a random tag.
How Oregon works, 3/4 of the tags go to people with the most points, and then 25% go to a random draw. I drew this tag on the random draw instead of having to wait over a decade, almost 2 decades, to actually draw this. And I recognize this is something pretty special. This was my first kind of big ticket hunt that I've drawn in Oregon since I became a resident here. And so I spent a week out here scouting. We're out here in Oregon for our first ever Oregon filmed hunt. I'm out here about 2 weeks before season trying to find a few. And we haven't had a whole lot of luck so far. I don't know what was up in the first few days, but we're definitely seeing more animals. The fact that we're finding groups of does means that we should be able to start finding the bucks as the bucks start trying to find the does as well. Today and yesterday and the day before, we actually started finding a couple bucks here and there. This entire section of the unit is not a complete bust. There is some promise here, but there's still some really tempting spots that I'd like to check out when the hunt rolls around. Well, Scott showed up here yesterday, set up camp, so that helps.
That's how it usually happens.
That's how it always
I was out here last week scouting, and I didn't see a whole lot, so we're looking in a different part of the unit this time.
Yeah, but that's the benefit of not seeing anything. We can cross off all that country over there that you didn't see anything with.
I mean, you always want to see one that you want to go chase, but if you can cross off a bunch of ground to eliminate during the hunt, that also works.
I don't even have a tag, so it's a low pressure operation for me. I get to spend time with great people. You know, my son Matthew, one of my best friends, Scott Jones, Jace, the camera guy, just always a pleasure to be around. It's a species I really love, pronghorn, and it's a landscape that I have grown to enjoy and be fascinated by. And it is very desolate, it is tough, it is harsh, it is dry, it is hot. But there is also a unique beauty to it. When I apply for tags, a lot of them are this Great Basin country.
It's calming to be out here. I've really enjoyed it. We've met a few people out here just bouncing around on the roads that have been very nice. There are some very stark differences between being out here where there's not as many people versus back in Portland where everything's in a bit of a rush. It's 60 miles to the most reliable gas station. I don't know exactly when they're open. There's no easy way to get takeout food. It's definitely a different pace of things.
Most of you know that when you're hunting pronghorn, because they live in such a dry, arid environment, that water is critical, and it is here. And it was very, very concerning how many of them were dry.
That looks pretty dry.
The flip side of that is eliminating those places you think might hold pronghorn. Because on the map it says it's water source, but there's no water there. Pronghorn are gonna move. They're moving to where the water is.
Nothing there.
So you gotta do a lot of driving, a lot of traveling. It seems like we got way more windshield time than we do hunting time.
Still not looking great. So losing light, so maybe we'll get to see the other one, or maybe we'll just head back. We'll see how long it takes. I was expecting there'd be a little more water with the number of water holes that are marked on the maps out here, but that's the way it goes.
What should I do with this spot?
I don't know, what color do we make slightly damp mud?
White. We show those as dead.
I don't know, is it worth even going to the other one that's 5 miles away, or should we just head back to
I think
camp?
we're gonna head back.
Yeah, that's my vote too.
Oregon has amazing rural outlying areas, and you get outside the big city and most people are fanatic about hunting and fishing. A lot of these western states are highly urbanized in concentrated areas, and then there's vast areas of loneliness.
Well, we're gonna go check the water holes that the biologist told us to go look at.
Okay.
Which we probably should have done yesterday, but
Well, we got a late start yesterday.
hopefully we'll find a few. And,
Chewing.
yeah.
Well, we found some water finally. Look at this, water all over the place. Got 4 ducks swimming in the corner there. But I would have bet there was water in here, because when we drove in, when we were past that gate there was a pronghorn up on the bench skyline, so that's a good sign there's water nearby. When we parked and walked up here, about 10 sage grouse got up.
All those.
Shouldn't they be rutting right now?
Should be getting close,
Should
I
be
think.
getting ready to. I expect this season that Matthew drew this tag for to be a bit of a harder hunt. There was the first rifle season for pronghorn, and now we're here in the last part of the second rifle season.
It's probably the best one we've seen on the trip. He actually doesn't look like he has that much mass. From the side at least, from the front, he looks a lot better.
So between some of the older bucks already getting cropped off and the hunting pressure maybe pushing the bucks into places you normally wouldn't find them, we're probably going to have to work a little harder, but that's fine by me.
We might see some rutting behavior here in a second. I'd plan to just keep walking down this ridgeline and seeing what we see. This, I think, is the one I saw.
For what we've seen, my thoughts are he's a shooter, but for what I thought we'd see on this hunt, he's not what I thought we'd see, but.
Oh, someone shot this doe. See this doe limping to the left? She's all bloody. See how she's limping? She's got a big blood spatter on her left front shoulder. You want my guess as to what happened to that doe?
What?
Somebody was shooting at a buck from like 800 yards and just missed.
Oh, and hit her instead of the buck. That could be. Or she could have been standing behind the buck that got shot in the pass-through.
Yeah. We looked at this guy for a while. He's the one that I saw when I was walking up. And he's definitely the best one we've seen so far, but still not quite what we were hoping to find when we drew the tag. So I'm gonna let him go and know that there's plenty of options out in this section.
Well, we're taking a little break here. We got a little thunderstorm coming by, and I'm just sitting here looking at the bigger part of this landscape and thinking about all the places we've driven through and driven past. When you're out here in this part of Oregon, you realize what rural really is. You see people out here scratching out a living, a tough living. And I suspect that when most people think of Oregon, they think about Portland and Salem and Eugene, that entire urbanized corridor all the way down to the California border. And that does create some dynamics. Here in Oregon, most of their policy, most of their governance is pretty much dictated by that high population center. And a lot of those folks in those population centers may not have the appreciation for what it takes for these folks to live out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that my tendencies, my biases, lean more towards the rural lifestyle and those values than maybe what come from these highly urbanized places. Make no doubt, it makes for some interesting conflict and I would say probably results in some disconnect. But being out here in this part of Oregon, it's relaxing, and for me, I kind of feel at home.
There's a few on the bench back here even.
Yeah, there's a buck right down here. I wonder if we can get to these trees.
By the end of the day, this dusty room will be 1,000 miles away. Once heard it said in a song, best keep to travel.
I bet you we've looked at over 300 pronghorn today.
There's probably 300 just in this little valley here right now.
And we have not seen a buck over 2.5. I think you could come back here any day and shoot just a buck to have for the freezer.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Seen a lot of animals today.
What, today we saw a ton of pronghorn.
We went where the biologist said to go and they were right. There were plenty there, but just nothing.
Yeah. What are you thinking for tomorrow?
I don't know. Could go check one of the spots that I saw some does on when I was scouting, even though there were no bucks at the time. You know, the rut seems to be going pretty good right now. So maybe something has found those groups and
go from there.
Who knows? But I know fewer people are up there at least.
Yeah. Regardless of how many bucks we see or don't see, pronghorn hunting is still a ton of fun because it's relaxing. You get to spend a lot of times catching up with the people that are close to you and be the kind of friends that me and Matthew and Scott have been for most of our adult lives. That's the kind of hunting that is a whole lot of fun.
I'll take some of whatever you want.
You'll eat them. They're just very mild.
They're very mild?
You got a spicy one.
You all right, Randy?
Little big Hank to get the day rolling right.
This looks like better pronghorn habitat than where we were yesterday.
I think I'm gonna hike up to the little hill here again.
I don't know. I'd say if he doesn't see anything up here that interests him, I know him well enough that I think he's about ready to make a purchase here. He's done window shopping. He doesn't look like he's in a big hurry. What do you find over there?
Not a lot. Kind of want to go back on this side up there, go for a little hike. There's got to be a spot where they're crossing from the refuge up there. This hunt has been an example in just keep coming up with new plans. So plan A, plan B, I evaluated while we were scouting. Those got scratched off before the hunt ever started. Plan C didn't work. Plan D didn't work.
Well, Matthew went on a big hike along this rim looking down. He's convinced there's antelope off this rim, so he's coming back. He's walking a little faster than when he was walking over there, so. You coming back for the spotter?
Nope.
No?
Coming back to say we can move on.
Well, we're gonna go back to the water hole, and I'm gonna see if I can fill some freezer tonight. So.
All right. I like that idea. You've given him 5 days of scouting and 4.5 days of hunting, and you have yet to see a buck.
I've seen a lot of cookie cutters that are all basically the same.
So you may as well go buy one of those cookies over there and quit window shopping.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you-
I like eating them enough. I don't want to go home empty-handed.
No. Right now, depending on which one we look at, they're anywhere from 540 to 600.
We haven't really seen anything different than what we've already seen. So there's one of those right here in the water hole on the way back to camp. So we're gonna walk out here a ways and see if we can get within range. We did develop an unfortunate crosswind in the last 2 hours, so it's gonna limit how far I'm comfortable shooting. And if this doesn't work, we're gonna head back to camp and see if we can find another one along the way. They're still there.
They're back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go right back to the road,
Okay.
cut up, and then,
See if we can.
yeah.
Okay.
So I was considering going down this a little, but I think they're further down.
Well, they are, but how far you don't know. If you go all the way down that corner, you're going to be shooting right into the light. This lets you get a little closer. Matthew. There's a bunch coming in from the right. They all are moving left. Get ready. You're gonna have to move forward. They're gonna come out over here, Matthew. They all just took off running. The buck is still in the bottom. I just saw it. They're at 255. You see the buck in the top left?
No, I can't see the back from the ground.
They're gonna move pretty soon. The does are looking at us. The buck is horning a bush. They're all gonna go.
Well, I messed that one up. Took me too long to figure out which one he was, and they were already on high alert. So as soon as any part of us got around this tree, they just ran off. They're still down here, but I think they know something's up. They just stayed right behind the tree, but then as soon as we poked around enough that I could get a sight line, by the time I picked out which one he was, they'd already took off. So I think they're on high alert now. We should probably...
Yeah, they burned all the way out of here.
Yeah, so we should probably just head back to camp and see if we can scrounge up another group on the way.
Sure. Well, Matthew, we didn't shoot one on the way back to camp.
No, we
Or
saw...
you didn't.
We definitely didn't, but I also did not shoot one. Saw a couple, but
Yeah.
Jace and Scott are heading out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be you and me like the old days, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, the old days filming each other, right? Head up there and shoot that one that's at that water hole you keep talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How big a one does it got to be tomorrow?
I mean, above the ears preferably, but close is the main issue.
Close, like close range.
Yeah.
Well, we're off. Matthew's up in front of me, kicking up dust. Hopefully, gonna find him a buck in the next day and a half. This is, for me, a bonus day and a half. I didn't know Matthew had the time to go do this, and I'll always make time.
We're, I don't know, half a mile off the main road, and there's a group of them right here. Not much of anything, so we're gonna keep moving on. Got really smoky overnight, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Hopefully there's not anything too close that we don't know about.
What we're doing is driving from water hole to water hole and just glassing. And we have a whole series of those on our maps in hopes that we see something that gives us an opportunity that Matthew wants to take advantage of.
Well, Matthew, this is your go-to spot. You say there's always antelope here.
I mean, I wouldn't call it the go-to spot, but every time I've driven by here, any time of day, there's always been antelope, and there still are, so.
I see one herd out in front of us and one off to our right. This guy got in the spotter. He must be the chief. He's got more does than the other bucks.
I'd probably shoot that one today if we could get close to it.
I mean, if. You mean when we get close to it? What do you think?
Wouldn't have shot him on the first day, but if we can get in range, I'd shoot him today.
Well, he's rutting and running. Maybe he'll just come into range.
I mean, he might. Well, they don't seem to care too much that we're here. They're at 560 yards. So I'm just gonna grab my gun and my tripod, walk straight towards them, and see if they let me get close.
Matthew's using the old trick of walking straight towards a pronghorn, because a lot of times pronghorn, their peripheral vision is what they rely on, and their depth perception isn't always that good. Especially if you have something behind you like a dirt berm or a vehicle or whatever. Well, he's already cut 120 some yards off. And the buck was at 560, but the does are looking at him. They're trying to make out what he is. Yeah. There you see him now. Now, they're over here. They're running right towards Matthew.
He said if he could get to that little row of brush, he thinks he might have it. But they're walking away from him, so I don't know how this is gonna work. That doe's getting nervous. Matthew's got 305 yards off it. The buck is at 622. And Matthew is at 300 and some yards. He's getting the rifle set up. From my angle, Matthew's off to my left, so his shot angle is going to be a lot different than what my filming angle is. Now there's a doe, bringing him closer. That would be kind of her. Matthew is just to the left of the screen right now. Be nice if the buck would walk further left, then I'd have them both in the screen. You might have to wait for these does. I don't know what he's got at his shot angle. He is. I wish that buck could move left more. It would give, oh, sounded like a shot. But I'm not sure. I think that was a shot that worked. And just like that, Mr. Patience is rewarded once again. Oh man, that was a perfect shot. You made that look really easy.
What's that?
You made that look really easy.
Well, he just stood there for a while. I thought I was gonna hear you screaming and celebrating back here. I thought I shot the wrong one or something.
No. What do you feel?
Good. Happy we have some meat. He's not a monster, but I'm happy we made it work. Made a good one-shot kill and got some antelope steaks for dinner. So let's go get him taken care of before it gets too hot. It's already, what, 85 degrees or something right now. So I am punching my E-tag for Oregon because I have an electronic tag on this. Validate. And then I'm got to write this on a little sheet of paper and attach it to the carcass to show anyone that it's legal if we get stopped by OSP on the way home. I've been saying this whole time that I've really enjoyed this hunt, just being out here with everyone. And it's not about the trophy. I think every animal is a trophy. But to me, the quickest way to ruin a fun, good hunt is to make a really bad shot on an animal and wound it or lose it or have to chase it for forever and have the animal suffer. So very happy that this one worked out. Wish Scott and Jace were here, but that's how it goes.
Having spent a week out here in Eastern Oregon, it makes me realize that Oregon's not a whole lot different than some of the other places that I travel, where a lot of times the urban population centers, their views, their perspectives, and their values have a tendency to dominate just due to the sheer numbers of people and sheer number of voters. But I sure hope that people think hard about the importance of the more rural areas and the people who live there, because their opinions, their idea, and their way of life are as important as anybody. And spending this time out here with Matthew and Scott and Jace and these pronghorn gives me time to think about those things and deepens the appreciation that I already had for the rural way of life in the far reaches of America.